What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Portrait Sketch in Oil Colors. This is the 19th edition. The reference is on the top for you. And as usual, I'm just starting with a simple sketch, but I'm trying to figure out actually how large I want these faces to be. I think a little bit bigger might be good, so we can focus a little bit more with the forms. I was gonna do a drawing beforehand, but I don't know. I'd rather just have the whole process done in one video. I've done many where I've split the videos up, but I don't want to do that as much. Hey Tipu, hey Mark L, welcome. In regards to the question or the comments about the subtitles, I have enabled subtitling on my YouTube Studio, but I think it takes a little while for YouTube to generate the subtitles. I don't think I don't know. It's not something that I'm that much of a I'm not that knowledgeable with it, but at least that's what I read. As usual, I will post the references to my Patreon for free. I think I'm a little bit delayed with the past two, but I will post them on my Patreon so you can paint along with this if you choose to. Alright, so position of the eyebrows is pretty good. Just trying to get a basic shape for the face. Hey Angel. So this is a 12 by 16 inch cotton canvas, but it's a smooth canvas that I bought a long time ago as a canvas roll, but it's actually duct taped on the back of a panel so that I can stretch it if I want to, or mount it onto a panel in the future, again if I decide to do so. But I've toned this a little darker of a neutral gray than before. That's because I know that this one is going to have a dark background up here. So last week I kind of butchered one of these by just kind of butchered it. It was a similar setup to this one, and so let's see if I've learned anything from that experience. It's always good to completely mess one up once in a while. But as usual, I'm just working with basic shapes, trying not to overthink any of these decisions. For these references, I use a copyright-free source called Pixabay. Okay, the ear is going to be around there. So this is a good size for the face. How's everybody doing? How's your weekends, everybody? I am going to use my lead white again. I didn't really like the titanium white that I had. I told you I bought a new tube of titanium white. It's actually the Plaza brand, but they're all kind of the same. The Artist Grade titanium whites. Minus, I think there are some of them that have lead in them, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't really think I like the titanium that I bought. But I do have my Alkyd titanium with me, so this should appear a lot brighter initially because, well, this is a darker tone. Clock changed. Did it happen? I didn't even notice. Maybe it didn't happen in my area yet. I don't think it happened in my area yet. Or maybe it did and I just didn't notice. Maybe it did and I just didn't notice. It happened yesterday? Oh, okay. I guess it probably happened here in the DC area also. I'm not sure. You said yours changed on Sunday in the UK. Huh. Maybe it did change. And I just didn't notice. Very likely that it changed and I didn't notice. Okay, it didn't change. Thanks, Tipu, for letting me know. I didn't know. So it changed for everyone else. Not for us yet. Yeah, yeah, I remember, I guess, back when the phones didn't automatically do that. That's the time of the flip phones, wasn't it? Or maybe they changed even back then. All I remember is when I was in school, I was always wondering if I would gain an hour of sleep or if I'd lose an hour of sleep. Yeah, so far this tone is on my palette. This warm color looks blue on my the palette that I'm using, and I'm using a neutral gray. So I'm not quite used to this tone. There's some Shiba fur for us there. Gotta have the Shiba fur, but it's all good. And also there were some comments. Oh yeah, the flip phones. Yeah, those were the good old days, I guess. Although it is nice to be able to have a smartphone, though social media can be kind of difficult to manage. especially for the younger generation. What was I gonna say? I don't even remember. So for this start, I am more or less just trying to get a general shape and cover as much of these dark lights, meaning right here, 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 and here, so that I can go into the form. And I'm gonna see if I can remain disciplined enough to stick with the development of the face, and maybe have something for the hair, but no more than that. It is fun getting all in the background and stuff like that, but I need a little more discipline to produce more realistic faces, because that tends to be kind of a challenge for me sometimes with these sketches. Alright, as usual, I don't want to start the form with the eyes, so I will start with the nose. Angel, I'm good. How are you doing? How's everybody? I'm alright. I'm just more, I guess, focused on what on earth I'm doing with YouTube. I mean, I like doing these sketches, but you know, I think I'm gonna go for more of a realistic touch. Takes me a while to kind of decide what effect I'm going for, especially with these videos. Remember, anyone that may be new to these videos, they're very improv, so it literally is just a portrait sketch. I'm just hanging out with y'all and trying to develop a painting. Feel free to ask me anything. Oh yeah, the lead white is way nicer than the titanium for this. And that's just because I bought the Plaza brand. Plaza is the local art store near me, so perhaps had I spent the extra like $5 to get the Gamblin one, it would have been different. But these are but this is much easier for me to handle. Again, I know that some of y'all live in a place where you can't get lead anything, so it's okay. You don't need it. Like I did the past couple streams without it. I did alright with some of them, and I bombed one of them last week. I wasn't really feeling like myself that day. I was just kind of having an off day, but I decided to work anyway. See, that's the thing with being a full-time painter, or at least trying to be a full-time painter. You're gonna have off days, and you just gotta ride them out. Don't just stop because you're not 100%. Palette. I am using the same setup as I've had for a while with that square palette. White, which in this case is my lead white, is over here. That's what I'm using. But I do have my Alkyd which I'll probably use soon. But I have cadmium yellow. This is raw sienna, but I barely use it. Cadmium orange, cadmium red, alizarin, burnt sienna, sap green, cobalt blue. That is a violet. I think it's a magenta. It's either magenta or dioxazine purple, and then black. And this is probably dried. That's cerulean blue. Let me check if it's... Actually, it's not dried. That's good. I can actually use it. But I do like cobalt blue these days for my portraiture, especially these portrait sketches. And for my cadmiums, I have, or at least for red, yellow, and blue, which obviously there's no cadmium blue, but my cobalt blue is M. Graham brand. So is my cadmium yellow and my cadmium red. So it kind of doesn't dry for a while because it's a walnut oil. But then I have an alkyd white, so my paintings, they do dry faster than had I just used regular oil paints, just because of the alkyd white. And sometimes I'll use like alkyd red and substitute it in with these. These sketches are no more than 2 hours at a time, so I don't really need anything that slow drying. But it's nice to have it on the palette though, just because I know it's not going to dry on me too soon. I'm almost going to put the filtrum, or make the filtrum too small right now on purpose, and then extend it as wide as I need it to go. That's kind of a recent development. I find it's easier to move the mouth down if I have to than it is to move it up. Yeah, I can't have the palette on here on the side for too long as I used to, because it hurts my shoulder. Because I'm always moving my right shoulder down, so it gives my arm time to rest. And you don't gotta worry about that unless you're painting like that several hours at a time. Maybe this week we'll do something Halloween themed. I mean, it's only Monday. Halloween is Friday, I think. And I never really stream on Friday anyway, because I do one-on-one Zoom lessons. But yeah, maybe Thursday or Wednesday we'll do something Halloweenish. Or maybe I should have just done that today, just all week do some Halloween stuff, but it's the least popular content on my Instagram. Every time I paint something like slightly scary, funny, gosh, people hate it. It's hilarious. Hey, tour. Welcome, welcome. I'm using... It is dioxazine purple. Alright, dioxazine purple and alizarin again. It's just a violet. It's place this down right here, and we'll place this right here. Move over here. Little guesstimations for where the mouth is gonna fit. Some sap green. I guess I'll use raw sienna. I barely use it. I don't know why I still have it on my palette. Paint myself holding a skull. Eyes shine like a jack-o'-lantern. Yeah, that would be fun, but definitely not something I think I'd be able to do for one of these portrait sketches. I'm not fast enough for that. Definitely not fast enough for that. But that's an idea. Okay, let me add a little line or something for the neck and the shoulders. Here's just a line, so it's not a chopped off head. Just a line for that. Just a line. We may or may not get more into the ear later. You know, I'm starting to like this 12/16 size. It's too large of a size for buying canvases just to do sketches, but it works out pretty well for if you have a canvas roll. Because cotton canvas is actually pretty affordable compared to linen. And it's easier to stretch. It's just all around easier to deal with. You know, when I do a more professional surface, I prefer panels anyway over canvas, anything. I prefer panels over linen. Linen is just kind of annoying to deal with, especially to stretch it, because it's such a stiff fabric. Right now I can throw in some alkyd. What did I miss? Oh, I did miss that. Otis. Say, how do you get the height width ratio correct without measuring it. I try as much as I can in the beginning to just go by eye. I don't measure anything, just to give myself the opportunity to have something to work with. So here's how my thought process goes, and it's a little different than what you may have been told in school. But what I do is I try to think of relative shapes. For example, in my head, I'm already thinking this is a heart shaped kind of guitar pick. So I'm like, all right, we'll throw that down, guitar pick. Because there's three types that I usually generalize. I got guitar pick kind of shape. I've got a pill, and then we got a square. So my head is more square. Some people's head is more like a pill. Others are like heart shaped, like this one. So I think about that first. Then I think about how long is their nose. How is their nose like the usual? Which hers it looks like it, pretty close to the thirds. So without even measuring it, I know that from here to here is going to be pretty close. But I know that her nose is a little bit longer than the thirds, but by observation. And then when it comes to the mouth, I place the mouth a little bit closer to the nose because I found that it's easier for me to move it down as I add more development, so that I'm not locked into some outlines that are going to be filling in the outlines. I rather have, especially for these short sketches, I'd rather have something tangible form wise that I can develop. So that's how I think about it. But no measuring. Especially when you're working from life, if you're too caught up on measuring, when you work from life, you're going to have a really tough time when the model moves. And I get it. You can correct the model and have them position themselves exactly where their head is going to be. But I've seen it too many times where people and professionals are so nitpicky about the position of the model's head that it's just it's kind of a hassle, not just for the model but for everybody else in the room. If you've got someone constantly saying you can move your head a little to the right, a little to the left, a fraction tilt up, fraction tilt down, you should be able to see the structures all at once as a three-dimensional shape, and then apply your fine-tuning, your modeling to whatever position suits you best. Now obviously the head is not going to turn that much. Like if she were posing from life and her nose all of a sudden, if I didn't see this part of her face, then I'd have to correct her. But I always think about these things when I'm painting. What would I do if I was painting from life? And I'm recently now teaching landscape on my Patreon. And so I'm teaching it such that you can use those methods to paint in plein air, meaning you have to be able to adjust for the sun, right? The sun is going to change, so don't lock into the shadows too soon, especially the cast shadows. I'd rather go for the midtones of some central object in a landscape. And then once the sun has changed enough, I can go in and lock on the cast shadows while still maintaining the midtones. Same thing with portraiture. I show you how to paint from pictures such that you can paint from life. Picture is actually a lot harder to work from than from life if you already have training. working from life like I did as a kid. Yeah, landscape. Oh yeah, definitely. I can teach you how to paint a landscape UFO. Now I'm going for careful forms around the face, the big tones, so to speak. Like I said, I will put some of the dark of the hair. Some little value there for the ear. Pushing the color a little more than the reference right now. Yeah, I wish I could buy vermilion. No, at least here in the U.S., like Rublev does not have any vermilion in stock. But if they do, let me know if you see it. I'll be one of the first to buy it, even though, it's more of a collectible. It's not really practical to paint with vermilion anymore. Hey Tipu, how do I plan to sell this painting? I thought of something quite interesting about selling these. I'm gonna give myself an hourly rate. So, given I'm not very popular right now on the internet, my hourly rate will probably be maybe, uh, I don't know, 35 an hour, I'd say. Most of you make more than that. So, for example, if you like the way the painting looks 1 hour in, then it's yours, probably for 35. Of course, you're going to have to pay for shipping and handling, not counting tariffs. Obviously, if you're not in the US, then tariffs are going to be kind of annoying. 2 hours in, then 70. And then there's shipping and handling. But I can sell it I can roll it and put it in a tube if you don't want to deal with the like expensive shipping. If you want me to stretch it, then by all means I can stretch it. But I'm not set on 35 an hour. I might do 40 an hour, whatever I'm worth. Yeah, no, Michael Harding doesn't have any in stock either. I couldn't find any, but yeah, they did have genuine vermilion also. No, I didn't put any greenish or bluish parts just yet. And what you're probably seeing is the effect of the tone of the canvas. Yeah, so I've thought about that, everybody. I'll give myself an hourly rate with these paintings. Um, that being said, I will probably do something a little bit more sellable, like more landscapes and still life, and I'll just paint. If you like the way it looks in an hour, then you'll just pay whatever my price is for an hour. If you like the way it looks after 2 hours, then you can buy it at the 2 hours. It's a thought that I have had recently. Like, who am I to charge like 200 an hour, 100 an hour anymore? I used to get those rates, but not anymore. Times are tough. Government's still shut down in the US. It's affecting everybody. We are screwed. But I'm still here to paint for y'all. Oh, thanks, Tipu. Well, get them while they're affordable. I mean, I think I'll only raise my rate once I sell everything. Like I said, I'm probably gonna switch to landscape or a still life. If you want to buy a $35 still life, by all means. If you want to buy a $70 still life, by all means. Of course, shipping. I like shipping through. I like using Priority, even though it's a little bit more expensive. USPS Priority. Again, this is why I like Alkids, because it'll be dry. In like a couple days, this will be dry and ready to go. I understand that angel art is priceless. But bills must be met. Bills must be met. And I do want more of my paintings out there in the world than already are. So, it might be 40. I might do 40 an hour. So it's at least for 2 hours, I would have made 20 short of 100. And come on, I've paid more for that to go out to eat Korean barbecue. so if you buy the painting, that means I can almost afford Korean barbecue. This is my idea. It's not set in stone, but it's my idea. Because, I want to do something with this, right? Like, I don't have a camera crew following me or anything, so it's not as entertaining as like a Bob Ross, but we'll do something with it. Consider these collectibles. Yeah, I may do some streams like that. Well, there's maybe like a clock for my hourly rate. And I'll paint maybe like a couple hours in the future, take a break. So I'm really tired of my dog walking job. I don't want to do it anymore. I really don't like it. So that's a thought that I have. I think the best is just to email me or just to comment. I do have my website, but I might take it down. Because most of my commissions have been just word of mouth anyway. So I don't really see a purpose for me to pay past the free trial with my current website. And I get it. Y'all don't want to buy bookmarks and stickers and all the stuff that Lucy made with my paintings. It wasn't really my idea anyway. It wasn't my, cup of tea. And she doesn't really, I don't think she wants to do that anymore anyway. So, yeah, just email is best. You can comment on Instagram, comment here, on YouTube. Yeah, Angel. So let this be kind of a lesson for more of the commercial side of art. Um, oil paintings, almost never sell for face value. Think of it as collecting a coin. A coin is like face value. Recently, I've gotten into the coin stuff. So, what's it called? New mystics or whatever. Like, obviously, I don't know that much about it, but I know that a penny from like 1905 or even 1905 is probably still only worth a penny, but a penny from 200 years ago is worth more than a penny. Now, with paintings, what I mean is people typically don't just buy an oil painting because of the way it looks. Like, oh, it matches my couch, let me get this. No, they buy prints. They buy, like you said, to sell prints, but they don't just buy prints from individual people. They buy them from IKEA, or they buy them from where's popular? Target, Walmart. But selling artwork, if you want to actually get into selling artwork, you have to develop some kind of name. That's why I've been doing these for so long now. We're on the 19th edition, and I'm still going to keep doing these. Even if we switch to doing portrait, sketch, landscape, or still life, it'll still have, it's not going to be called portrait, but painting, sketch, whatever. I'm still going to number it. So, like, say number 21 will be a landscape. It's still oil painting, sketch, 21, 22, or whatever. They all have item numbers. But people tend to not buy paintings just because they like the way that they look. They buy them based on who did them. But not to be pessimistic about it. All of you here, I can guarantee the majority of you have more friends than I do. I can guarantee you that. So you can make a pretty good profit off of your artwork simply by being a likable person, by having friends, family, people, co-workers. Especially come the holidays. Oh my goodness. Everybody and their cousin, they want a commissioned portrait of Uncle Seymour or whatever. Like, that time's coming, y'all. So holiday commissions are coming. Yeah, so each one of these paintings has a number. This one is number 19. Once I start venturing out into different subject matter, I'm still going to use this numbering system, which is probably more reason to actually keep my website, but I mean, YouTube is an easier way to document. I feel like websites these days are kind of going for artists. Website these days are kind of going the direction of a home phone or an office phone. Ain't nobody need a home phone anymore these days. You just don't. An office phone maybe. But ain't nobody need a home phone. There's no reason for a landline. There's no reason to pay for cable. I'm not calling anyone out in case you do have cable. You still pay for cable. Times are changing and we have to adapt. This life is all about adapting. Adapting to the next best thing. And let me tell you what, AI is destroying Facebook portrait groups. My friend Jennifer Mora, I kind of forgot how to pronounce her last name, but she's the one that started the original portrait group on Facebook. And I know a lot of y'all probably don't follow portrait stuff on Facebook, but some of you do. And the majority of posts that keep showing up on my feed, and I've blocked it ever since, but they kept AI paintings have shown up and people are claiming that they painted them, and I'm like, come on man, get a grip. Like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, unless it's for marketing purposes. Like, AI art is useful for graphic design, I'm sure. It's useful for designing on a cheap budget. It's probably useful for designing something graphic design-ish. Logos, I'm sure. But what photography did to painting back in the day, we are now experiencing what AI is doing to art. Photography had its effect on painting back in the day when photography became a thing, but now we're in a whole new world where AI is just it's doing something, and you have to be aware of how to survive in that world. And I'm showing you how to do it. He said, will you ever make an oil painting of your whole family and you still have your house phone? That's okay. So does my mom still has her house phone, and I still use it for rewards when I go grocery shopping. I just used it today. But there's no need for it. But like I said, I'm not calling anyone out just because, you have a home phone still. Yeah, like, I mean, that's okay. There's no need to be ashamed of it, but things are changing. And they're changing dramatically. So how do you survive in the AI art world? I have a theory, and my theory is what everyone's been saying is to take progress photos of what you're doing. The next step, the next level, is to record it. And that will prevent you from having to deal with people not believing that your painting is actually your painting. want to get too involved with the detail for the eye. I want to do a little bit more for the forms. But it is kind of scary. I mean, the AI is now able to create fake paintings that look brushy enough that you would think it's a real painting. And the more realistic you go, it's almost indistinguishable. I say almost because I can still tell, obviously. But there will be a time where it's, I mean, you just can't tell. Like I said, these streams are very improv. I mean, there's the AI Bob Ross. It's more of a humor. It's actually really funny. He gets angry at his canvas and kicks it or something. And AI Tupac has shown up with AI Bob Ross. See, I like funny things. I like when AI does funny stuff. Yeah, but yeah, definitely there's more of a human connection to human made. Can you imagine a world where, and we're probably not too far off, but can you imagine a world where human made has the same connotation as organic? Like organic foods in the art world? Like, that's just crazy. That's where we're heading. And there is going to be a gray area. There will be a gray area at some point where both human and AI is used for artwork. I'm sure of it. Someone's probably going to start using AI to print their underpaintings or something like that. And they're going to finish stuff off with the paintbrush. Hopefully they own up to it. Just like you have digital printers and gliche prints, we're probably not too far off where there's going to be printers that print out in oil paint. It's scary, but where there's money, there's going to be tech to mess things up. Yeah, that's one reason why I didn't want to start this without I didn't want to start this with outlines. Like, I didn't want to just draw the outlines in here and start rendering it. It just doesn't feel right. But what have your experiences been with AI thus far? Everyone's experience has been slightly different. Um, my mom and my grandma, they really believe some of the stuff that they've seen on social media, like the cats that are magically able to dance like humans. Now, of course, my mom is way smarter than that. That's an exaggeration, but I've seen her laugh at some of the stuff that the AI has done and not even acknowledge it, but she knows. My grandma, she kind of tends to believe some of it. I still care, of course. I hold my family to the highest regard. He said, I didn't even think of this. I thought you wrote Imogen Heap. Imagine tomorrow you wake up suddenly and say, today is a beautiful day. Yeah, I think about that sometimes. I wake up and I'm like, man, this is the best it's gonna be, or I just think, man, this is great. And then the day starts to go by. I get stuck in traffic. Uh, Little problems in the apartment. Life comes at you, but we do our best to keep positive. Newsboys when you fell down. I can check it out. Huh? No, no worries, Angel. No, the comments always help. Don't worry. It helps with the good old algorithm. Helps the stream pop up on people's feeds. That's what we want. Nah, you're good. I better put something in for the hair. A floating face is good when it's, highly realistic and stuff like that, but it can be better if there's something for the hair. But I'm trying to do as much as I can with the subtlety of this form here. Always trying to learn something new. Oh, about my weekend. Oh, let me tell you what. Yeah, last time I was here was Thursday, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to that gesture session. Um, and so they schedule portrait poses the last Thursday of the month, or the fourth Thursday of the month, and Halloween is on a Friday this week, not on a Thursday, but on a Friday. I walk up in there. First of all, I get stuck in traffic even though I left early. This happened Thursday after our painting session. So I left. I got stuck in 45 minutes of traffic. I get there with my sketch pad, ready to just do some sketches. And I'm 4 minutes late, and they already set up a portrait pose. And the coordinator for the group did not email me at all. When I used to run portrait groups or whatever figure groups, I used to run both of them, portrait and figure groups. I would always email about these changes, and this is the Workhouse Art Center in Lorton, Virginia. Don't mess with it. If you're in Virginia, just forget the Workhouse. This is probably the fourth time that they've done something like that to me. I got stuck 45 minutes to get there and then 30 minutes to get back home. Just to go 12 miles. I'm never going back there. I said that last time, but this time I really mean it. I'm not going back. Hey GG, welcome, welcome. And that was Thursday. Everything else was fine. It was okay. I didn't go to the group in Baltimore because I just did not want to sit in traffic anymore. I just couldn't do it. I do not want to sit in traffic. Anyway, alright, that's something for the ear. It's not finished by any means, but it's enough. Now let's see if we can add a little more structure up here and then start to paint in the hair. So now I'm using my Alkyd white because I want something a little bit cooler. That'll work. So it's easier to raise the eyebrows than it is to drop them, but of course I have to drop them here. Like I said, I could have taken the extra minute or two to measure the placement of the eyebrows exactly. But this is why I don't bother with it, because I can go in with color. So it's important to not be afraid to just go in with color. And move things around a little bit. I didn't have to chase that, but I've decided to. But again, don't feel like you have to work exactly like this. You can spend the extra time, draw it all out, get it just right. It's okay. You can do that too. Yellow, red classes. So I have classes on my Patreon, which is linked in the description of the video. My portrait classes on my Patreon, or you could just Google my Patreon, Patreon, and my name, Yupari, and it'll show up. The portrait is taught through a series of playlists, so you just complete the projects at your own pace. They're listed from beginner to advanced. and the playlists took a couple years to complete. So it's basically a self-teaching guide with those playlists. That's $10 a month. And then I have a new one, which is for landscape and still life. That one's a little pricier. Um, Also on my Patreon. It's pricier because I'm actually developing the videos currently. I didn't have it before. But I will be posting these pictures, the reference pictures, along with this link to each stream for free on my Patreon. Totally free. I do have a one-on-one. I do those on Fridays. Uh, I have students on a student at 4 and a student at 1. That's why I'm not here on Fridays. But enough about me. How's everybody doing? You say you're painting Al Pacino. I have a cousin that looks like Al Pacino. So there's 2 ways to go about this. If you don't like having to essentially repaint areas like I'm doing over here, then just you can use more of a careful drawing. With my beginner level projects, students have drawing templates of the outlines for the first 2 projects. And then from there, students draw with paintbrush. Hey Jonas. Welcome, welcome. I did say I was gonna paint the hair, right? I gotta keep it moving. But again, it's all about the quality, not the quantity. I don't need to have that much in here, but I want what I do have in here to be decent. That's what makes Alla Prima so difficult. So fast. Yeah, it's good to take a break from your painting projects once in a while. I usually have a couple of them that's going on at the same time. No, I never have trimmed or modified. I mean, I pluck out some of the, like this one, some of the, this like bristles that are hanging out. I just pluck them out sometimes. But no, I've never actually modified them. Have you? Or has anyone cut into them and modify them? I mean, I may have. I think I've done that to a flat brush once that had dried paint on it, I think. But I don't really remember the details about it. Watch me have. I probably did it on a YouTube video and just don't remember. Jonas, I like to jump around, jump around, jump around, jump up, and get down. Yeah, I like to jump. The song's in my head now. I like to jump around. Um, I don't like to stick with one. I know that it looks cooler to do that, to render one little thing at a time, like Scott Waddell, but I just don't. I don't know. It's not in my personality. I've taught some uh, projects like that. We did an Artemisia. There's an Artemisia Gentileschi study for more advanced projects, and we did something like that with the underpainting and worked on like the eyes and then the nose, the cheekbone, different days. I like to jump around. Jump around. And Ms. Burley. So you did the same to a flat brush. You chopped up a flat brush. Yeah, I think I've done that. I'm not sure. Sounds like something I would have done. Alright, I've let too much time go by. I really gotta do something for the hair. Medium wise, I'm using linseed oil with a little bit of Gamsol. I'm not using spike lavender anymore because I'm running low and it's expensive. Remember, hair has planes. And this is why I don't like to perfectly measure everything right away, because look at how easy it is to lower the forehead if I have to. I don't know if I have to, but if I have to, I can lower it. And it's even easier to raise it. You'll notice things like that. Like I said, it's easier to raise the eyebrows, it's easier to raise the forehead, it's easier to lower the mouth. So you'll notice those things like that. So Jonas, you said you like to jump around also. Her hair is so cool, like how can you not paint it? So I have to go in one plane at a time. Hope for the best. Hope I can capture her hair. Very little margin for error. Experience is the best teacher. I've messed up paintings like this before, just like the one I messed up last week with the dark background. I will go in with that dark background, but I chose to attack this way, and of course with a darker tone. Yeah, jumping around saves time, especially if you're working from life. Mindful of the edges. Sometimes a lost edge is better. Again, I don't have too much margin for error, but I know that the highlight, the main highlight here, can have a little more attention. These days, I don't really care too much for like a manufactured texture, like a what you call it, impasto. Especially when it's manufactured, when it's forced. I don't really care for it. If I'm to use thick paint and a paint impasto, it will be because I'm using really thick paint and I'm painting something that's not ultra smooth. But I prefer smooth these days. Have I used Chelsea Classics to lavender? Yeah, that's I was using. That's exactly what I was using before. Yeah, I have it right here. I've used it before. See, I still have a little bit of it. But when it gets old, it kind of looks like that over time, which is kind of weird. But I've used it as a thinner before, but not so much these days. Yeah, I just don't have that much lavender anymore, and I want to save it. But yeah, the only time I used medium was for this, so that could flow a little bit easier. But now that I have that, I can use that to help me gauge these colors and values. He says, so will you say that Chelsea Classic still got the brush cleaner? No, I wouldn't say it's it, uh, an alternative to the spiked lavender. Um, just because over time that brush cleaner really did change colors. Whereas the other one didn't change colors that much, so it kind of makes me a little cautious of the lavender brush cleaner. I think it really was intended just to clean, but I did use it over the spiked lavender many years ago, and I have never had a painting crack or have any like drawing too dark or any problems, so it could still work. I will say that the brush cleaner smells a little stronger than the spiked lavender. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but it does. But in terms of mediums, the best medium is the paint itself. I know that's a cliche, everybody says that, but that's why I have fast dryers and I have slow dryers. I have alkyd oil paints, regular oil paints, and then I have walnut oil paints. And if we're going by 40 an hour at the 2 hours, this is an $80 painting. You can have this for $80. If that is going to be my hourly pay, if that's what I'm gonna choose. I know, most of y'all make more than that. But hey, if I can actually pull that off, I won't be too upset. Use some of the oil. Alright, so I'm going with black, sap green, cobalt blue. In theory, I should have used my alkyd. You know, I still have it. I'll just put it right on here. That is my alkyd. And I will just take a huge thing of sap green. Sap green. Just paint that in there. This way I don't have to worry about this sinking in like it did last time. And this is nice and flat. I had anticipated this all along when I toned this canvas. Just leave a little room for where the shoulder would have fit, but that is the vignette, of course. And like I said, there's some, as you saw, I put some alkyd in there, so that will dry. This whole little shape here will dry, so not a concern here. Oh, much better. Way better than last time. Last time I did a chiaroscuro type thing like this, and I butchered it. I butchered it. Yeah, I did use some purple up here. I just like the way it looks. Now that is a clean background. It's not straight black because I used some sap green. Got the yellow alkyd. That's good. I mean, I like them. They definitely dry fast, though. My favorite is the Griffin alkyd. Alright, let's see if we can do that little trick again. I'm just going to tone up to there. Let that be the vignette like this. Boom. Right there. and sap green. A lot of sap green. As you see, it's green. Mixed with the alkyd. And that's our vignette for this one. Oh, cool, yellow red 99. And you know what might be even more useful, everybody? If you want to paint along with this, you could buy the painting for my hourly rate. 2 hours of painting. If I'm paying myself $40 an hour, then $80, and then you have, of course, you got to pay for shipping. Shipping is kind of a thing. And then you get to paint from the original painting that you can have in your home. Hey, that might be an idea. If I can't sell these paintings for $80, then I'll have to put my rate at 35 and go for 70. But like I said, I know that this is not very sellable stuff, so I can do some landscapes and some still life at my hourly rate. But yeah, I'll post the picture for free on Patreon. Thanks, Angel. Alright, this eye is a little. See if I can. Where's my little selfie stick? I don't have it, but I can use a paintbrush as a mall stick. Okay, alrighty. I think we're kind of there with this one. Yep, I think so. Alrighty, there we go. Another one in the books. We've got number 19, Portrait Sketch in Oil Colors 19. And I wasn't kidding about trying to do an hourly rate with these. Though painters typically pay themselves by salary, not so much hourly, but I don't know. It's a thought. I gotta put more thought into it though. Time to sign this one. You're gonna sign it and call it a day. Whoa, that was a while ago. I'm glad you remember that. I did have a wax medium back in the day. But no, I don't really have it since I first used it. It's I think I used it on a Sargent to try to get the background to not glare so much. I think. I will sign it over here. Whoops, the 2025 doesn't show, but I promise you it's on the bottom of this painting. It's zoomed in slightly so you can't really see the bottom. But no, I mean, I might still have it somewhere. Of course, I don't really throw any mediums out if I don't finish them, but I don't know where it is. I haven't really used it ever since. I liked it for the backgrounds because it would be a really like matte finish to the backgrounds. So it's still a good medium to use. But because of the way that I set up the light on these streams, I don't really get too much glare from the backgrounds. Hey Celeste. Another person online, and Celeste joined right at the end, but don't worry, we'll be back. We shall be back either tomorrow or the day after. But I think we'll do a Halloween themed one this week. Yeah, so once again, these are cotton canvases that I use duct tape to stretch it on the back of a panel. And you know what that phone call means. So that means that I can either stretch it on a canvas later or glue it onto a panel, or I can ship it in a roll and then you just mount it or have a framer do it, and that'll probably save you on shipping. Another person online, that's hilarious. This is from Pixabay. So she must have been modeling for whoever this photographer was. So yeah, I gotta run, y'all. Lucy just called. She got off work, and like I said, we'll be selling these using an hourly system. I think. I don't know. I think I might do that. So currently, I think I'll be at what, 40 an hour. So you can buy them, and then you gotta pay for shipping. But alrighty. Thank you all so much for joining. I wish you the very best, and I'll see you next time.